Right then, people, we're back inside the building. How are we doing this morning? Welcome back to Breakfast with KXVU here on Trickstar Radio. We are joined today by a very special guest. I've been looking forward to this one for a hot minute. A legend within grime and bass, especially on the music business side of things. Man like Elijah joins us this morning. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, good morning. I'm good. It's the first time I've been up doing something at 9 a.m. for a long time, so
amazing. Well, thank you for getting up nice and early for the show, man. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on. Obviously, you're someone who's been very, very involved in obviously grime and bass and pretty much UK underground music for an extended period of time now. Obviously, the big kind of question with everything going on at the moment is, and something I do want to dive into quite heavily right from the off. Obviously, running Butterz, which is such an established platform now. How have you found lockdown affecting label processes just to begin with?
So 2020 is our 10th year. So we had a bunch of plans to do nights, and we had a couple stages at festivals and kind of based a few plans around those. And once those went, I kind of put things on pause right at the top of March and thought, okay, when things start to kind of improve or open up, then I'll revisit these things and kind of adjust it if it felt right still. It felt weird to celebrate something in this kind of year.
Definitely, man. No, I feel that.
And then now, I guess, like, some of those plans are just pushed back into the new year or just completely revised, and we're kind of coming out with new ideas completely. And I don't know, it's just working out how important some of those things were, basically.
Definitely.
And getting rid of the ones that weren't so important and keeping the ones that really felt kind of special and kind of like, yeah, kind of saluted all the work that we've done so far.
Of course, man, of course. And I think, obviously, with Butterz being such a kind of key player, shall we say, in underground music in the UK, not necessarily just in grime either, obviously across different platforms and different genre types as well, I do feel when you kind of want to run up with that sort of 10-year anniversary kind of explosion, you want to make sure it's being done in the right way, realistically.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly. So, because all the artists are stretched across different things, it's hard to kind of encapsulate things in one event. It would have to be in different places, different clubs that felt special, different times. It was too much to kind of place all in one night, all in one day. So,
fully, man, fully. And obviously, it's been such an exciting run. Kind of if you kind of look back over the catalogue and look back over the artists that have come through and been involved, I'm sure when everything does kind of return to some level of normality, there's going to be some exciting parties and going to be some amazing experiences for people to take in down the line. More and then kind of like a kind of record label sort of day-to-day sort of scenario. Then, in regards to sort of releasing music and obviously the promotion of music and things like that, have you found much kind of different?
Yeah, so what we kind of took across all the projects really was just a pause. We started to get things out again now. Like Flavor just had a release on Hospital Records. That was the first kind of Butterz affiliated artist to release something since the pandemic started, because we just thought, no clubs, like, why do you need club music? So we started to work on other projects. We just finished a Swindle album last month. That's going to come out in the new year. So we've just done, I guess, a bunch of new things that we wouldn't have done if the pandemic didn't happen. So that's one cool thing about next year. You're going to just hear music that wouldn't have been possible or just wouldn't have existed without the pandemic happening. And some of the other things, maybe they'll come a bit later, or they'll get scrapped entirely, or they'll just kind of float out into other projects.
Definitely. No. I think that's quite a good way of looking at it. Obviously, there are terrible things happening with the current global scenario, and I think trying to find sort of positives you can take from it, and obviously finding like pockets of positivity is always something important, especially when working in something as emotional as music. You know, it's something that is a very emotional thing, and I think kind of harnessing that energy to bring forward exciting projects and exciting new music more than anything else is a very, very good way of dealing with things. And obviously, I've been looking through the sort of the feeds this morning and looking into more sort of recent things. I've literally just seen this new Newham Generals 4 tracks on limited edition vinyl. How did this come together?
I've just had a long relationship with them, so obviously starting from a fan, just seeing them in the clubs and hearing them on the radio, and then I started booking them like for Butterz nights, then started DJing for DWE and Footsie, and then maybe more shows for DWE when his album came out and stuff. And we did like a kind of vinyl issue of some classic tracks like 5 years ago. for our 5th birthday, and then there was a bunch of tunes that we could have done at that time that we just decided not to. So it's like, it's 10 years of Butterz. Let's follow up on that EP we did 5 years ago. And some of the things now, I guess, like, because we've been doing this stuff so long, we can be like, hey, let's throw back to something we did ourselves 5 years ago. It's kind of weird to kind of reference yourself and self-reference like old work.
No, yeah, I know what you mean, though, man. No, I know what you mean, and I think obviously, again, tying into this sort of new this scenario we're in, it's kind of interesting to revisit those things, because obviously it's something that we don't want to do is kind of get caught up in nostalgia. But when you look back over the history of what Butterz has done and what it's become, it's a pretty incredible kind of discography and legacy.
Yeah, it's just, you know what, it's just a bunch of friends, I guess, that stuck together through. Obviously changes of scenes, thick and thin, traveling, people, you know, having different varying kinds of success, moving house, getting married, having kids. Like, we've just kind of just stuck together throughout. Even when we've done projects elsewhere, we've kind of had this kind of unofficial pact that we'll always continue working together on this, and it's been really productive.
Definitely, man. Definitely.
So it's one of those kind of things that could, you know, 20 years later, we could still have this link.
Hopefully. I'm hoping so. As a fan, I'm hoping so.
Royalty, Swindle, DJ Q, and then whoever. Like, there's never been like some official kind of roster or official anything. It's just,
Definitely, man. No, definitely. And I think kind of looking at this as well, obviously with you mentioned earlier the DJing side of things, obviously with yourself and Skilliam in that sort of vein. How have you managed over the years to kind of balance the two things? Because obviously running a project as big as Butterz is always going to be take up a substantial chunk of time, realistically. Like, how have you found the time to obviously work in the DJ field as heavily as you have done at the same time?
I just think I was just excited and inspired. So, and some of the work didn't have that much overlap. So, like, when I used to DJ for like Kano and do those kind of concert shows, I could still do them in the evening. You know, get out, you know, drive to the other side of the country and do club shows with the other DJs and, you know, baseline DJs and stuff. So I was doing both at the same time. It was kind of mad. And even when I used to work down in Brighton, I used to do, you know, 3 kinds of different kinds of work at the same time. It was just because I loved it. It wasn't, I guess, anything particularly strategic or thought out that much. It was just, well, can I do more of the work that I like? Yeah, come on.
No, there we go. I think it's such an interesting way of looking at it as well. Just kind of going, look, I'm enjoying myself more than anything else. I'm enjoying this process. I'm enjoying all the elements of it. Like, why wouldn't you take on more?
Exactly. And then I guess there's points where it has been like quite overwhelming, but usually it's like pile-ups, like say like festival season or maybe September, October. But then after that, we hibernate projects. So like generally I wasn't really DJing through certain periods of time, and then I would go back to DJing afterwards after I'd finished all the boring work, basically.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the whole approach of it is amazing, and obviously, I'm as a kind of very much a younger kind of label, like someone who started a label myself, kind of looking up to what Butterz have done over the years, and the way you've kind of imprinted this brand and this kind of ethic, and the fact that you've just been so consistent with it. It's a really inspiring thing.
Thank you, man.
It's a really, really inspiring thing. And I think when the history books come to get written on this sort of like 20-year period of music that we've kind of found ourselves in, I definitely think that Butterz are going to be one of the names at the top of that list. What we're going to do next is jump into one of the tracks that you did send over. We started off, of course, with Integrity from JME. This one of the biggest tunes of the last few years to come out of the UK. I want to say rap scene in general, so across all fields. This one does come from Kano, obviously featuring Gigs, Free Wheel Up. So why is this one in today's selection?
We worked together for a couple of years before this tune, and then in the chorus he shouts out our label, so I thought it was kind of cool. He says couple wheel ups at Butterz, that's nothing, and I thought, let me just throw that in. That's
people
don't notice that.
Is that a thing that you've kind of done? Is this a tune that you've then played in dances and kind of waited for that bit in the mix and blend?
Yeah. But it's one of those things. It's nice when the MC shouts you out on a tune, like especially people that you've grown up listening to and got a lot of respect for.
100%, man. It's amazing stuff. Right then, just gone 13 minutes past 9 here. We are live on Trickstar Radio. We are on the line with a man like Elijah this morning, discussing Butterz and everything in between. We're going to get into this one now from Kano. This one is Free Wheel Ups featuring Gigs. Don't go anywhere. We're live in the building till 10. This is Breakfast with Kobe, baby. Oh, yes.